بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن نبينا محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد أهلا وسهلا ومرحبا بالجميع. Welcome my brothers in Islam in the fourth lesson of book 1 part 1 of Arabiyyah to Bayna Yadayk. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give all of us success in learning the Arabic language. We stopped in our last class about the benefits of learning the Arabic language, and from those important benefits is that like I mentioned in the last point, reading the Islamic books, and that many of them, of the Islamic books, important ones, many of them are not translated in the Arabic in other than the Arabic language, so they're only available in the Arabic language. And even if we find some translations, like I said, they will not give the exact idea of the author. They will not give the full and the precise idea of the book. They only bring to you the meaning of the general meaning of the book. And if you want to understand the book, then you have to read it in the language of the author, as you know. And like I said at the end, that any of you can try out. Let him read a book in the translation, or let him read the translated book. And after reading the translation, let him read the book, the same book, another time, a second time. But the second time in the Arabic language, the language that the author has written his book in. So he will definitely see a huge difference in how he had understood the book while reading the translation, and how he understands the book now while reading it in the language of the writer of the book. So this person will definitely see a clear difference. The fourth point I want to mention, my brothers in Islam, is that there are people that actually are complaining. هناك أناس أربعة, number 4. هناك أناس, there are people يشتكون من قلة الدروس والمحاضرات الإسلامية في بلدهم أو في مدينتهم أو في قريتهم. There are people that are complaining about the shortness and the shortage and the littleness of the Islamic lessons or the Islamic sermons and muhadarat in their city or the country or the city or in their village. So they complain and say, we don't have lectures here, there's nobody to deliver Islamic lectures and lessons. So they complain. أما علموا, these people that are complaining, didn't they know أن من يفهم اللغة العربية فإنه يسمع 3 مواعظ في اليوم? Did these people, that the complaining people, did they not know that the one who understands the Arabic language, he hears the man, the Muslim man that understands, or the Muslim youngster that understands the Arabic language? Do you know, my brothers in Islam, that he is hearing 3 lectures a day, 3 sermons a day? he is hearing on a daily basis 3 advices. How can that be? While there is no sheikh, there's nobody to teach them. How's that? The reply is that he gets a lecture with Salat al-Fajr behind the Imam while listening to the speech of his Lord, the advices from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in all different topics and aspects of Islam. He hears the advice behind the Imam with the Fajr prayer, and behind the Imam with the Maghrib prayer, and also with the Isha prayer, because he understands the Arabic language. So that's why, Allahumma barik, he gets 3 lectures in a day just by attending the Masjid and listening to the loudly prayers, what are the Fajr and Maghrib and Isha. Once it's about the stories of the prophets and his iman increases. Another time he hears about al-fiqh, the Islamic jurisprudence, and how to make wudu, for example, and the importance of other worships like fasting and hajj. And another day he hears about how he has to deal with his parents and to be good to them, etc. And also he hears with Maghrib prayer a lecture during the Salah. He hears an advice from his Lord about the Day of Judgment and how heavy that is for the wrongdoers. قال الله تعالى عن كتابه القرآن. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said about his book Al-Quran. In the Quran, he said, يا أيها الناس قد جاءتكم موعظة من ربكم وشفاء لما في الصدور وهدى ورحمة للمؤمنين. يا أيها الناس قد جاءتكم موعظة من ربكم. Al-Maw'idah here means the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Al-Maw'idah means advice. Allah has called his book Maw'idah, advice. The Quran is advice. Min Rabbikum, from your Lord. Wa shifa'un, and a cure has come to you. A cure. Shifa'un means dawa, a cure. Lima fi sudur, for what is in the hearts. It's a cure against the corrupt creed. It's a cure against doubts in the heart. Wahudan, and a guidance. Warahmatun, and a mercy for the believers. Lil mu'mineen. Allahu Akbar. Khamsatun. From the benefits of knowing the Arabic language, al-ittisalu bil-ulama al-kibar, is to get connected to the senior scholars of Islam. لِطَلَبِ الْفَتَاوَى, to ask and request from them al-fatawa, the Islamic fatawa, verdicts. وقد قال الله تعالى مرتين في القرآن, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said twice in the Quran, which shows us the importance of this ayah. It's been repeated twice in the Quran. فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Ask أهل الذكر if you don't know. This ayah is mentioned Surah Al-Nahl 43 and Surah Al-Anbiya 7. وأهل الذكر هم أهل العلم كما ذكر الإمام ابن كثير. Who are أهل الذكر in this ayah? أهل الذكر are أهل العلم, the people of knowledge, as Imam Ibn Kathir rahimahullah mentioned in his tafsir. Likewise, Imam Sa'di as well has mentioned it in his tafsir. And I believe, my brothers in Islam, and listen carefully, I believe that every scholar of Sharia, that every scholar of the Islamic science, he has to speak the Arabic language. It's a must. And he has to know the Arabic language. I repeat, every scholar of Islam, he has to know the Arabic language. He has to be able to speak the Arabic language. Otherwise, وأعتقد أن كل عالم بالشريعة يتكلم باللغة العربية ولا أظن أنه ينظر إلى شخص كعالم في عهد السلف وهو لا يتكلم العربية. I don't think that if we go back to the time of the Salaf, the pious predecessors, the first 3 generations of the Islam, I don't think that they would see a person who doesn't know the Arabic language as a scholar. He can claim what he can claim, but by not knowing the Arabic language, I don't think that any of the scholars of the past will regard him as a scholar of Islam. قال الأنصاري الحنفي one of the scholars of the past, he lived hundreds of years ago, centuries ago. He said rahimahullah in his book, he said, من شروط المجتهد, from the conditions to become a mujtahid, وهو العالم, as a scholar, from the conditions to become a mujtahid, a scholar, أنه لا بد من معرفة التصريف والنحو واللغة. The scholars, they have put conditions for somebody to be called a scholar. He said from the conditions to become a mujtahid is that he has to know التصريف, morphology. That's a subject of the Arabic language. والنحو, the grammar. واللغة, and the Arabic language. As mentioned in the book فواتح الرحمود لعبد العلي الأنصاري. So it's put as a condition to speak the Arabic language, to understand the Arabic language, to become a mujtahid. ولا يعني هذا أن كل العلماء عرب. It does not mean, this doesn't mean that all the scholars are Arabs. Don't get me wrong. فَتَنَبَّهْ لِذَلِكَ. Pay attention to that. لكن كلهم يتكلمون اللغة العربية. But all of them, they speak the Arabic language. الأئمة الستة, يعني البخاري ومسلم, the 6 Imams, البخاري ومسلم, and أصحاب السنن, the 4 Sunan, الترمذي, Abu Dawood, النسائي, Ibn Majah, all these 6 great scholars, the greatest scholars in the field of hadith, all of them were non-Arabs. But they used to speak Arabic. They knew the Arabic language. وَمَنْ يَتَكَلَّمُ مِنْهُمْ, and whoever of the scholars, of the senior scholars, those amongst them that speak any other language than Arabic as a second language, ومن يتكلم منهم أيضا باللغة الإنجليزية أو الفرنسية مثلا قليل كما هو معروف. And those of the senior scholars nowadays that speak English or French next to Arabic are very little. So people get stuck in many occasions and they cannot approach the senior scholars except with a translator. And then the question is, will the translator put your question forward in a proper way? That's the question. And sometimes the scholar needs more information. So when the translator puts the question forward, the scholar will ask him in the Arabic language some details. So now the translator has to go back to you and to ask you some more information, etc. It's very hard. So if you speak the Arabic language, you can just pick up the phone and call a senior scholar straight away who will explain you the Islamic matter you asked about. ستة. From the benefits of knowing the Arabic language, سهولة حفظ القرآن, the easiness of memorizing the Quran. And all of us want to memorize the Quran, and all of us want our children to be memorizers of the Quran. So the easiness of حفظ القرآن, of memorizing the Quran by knowing the Arabic language. وهذا أمر معلوم. This is something what is known. It doesn't even need proof. Just look around and you understand. Look to yourself and you understand. فمعرفة اللغة العربية تساعد كثيرا على الحفظ السريع. Knowing the Arabic language helps a lot in a quick memorization of the ayat. فمثلا لو قيل لشخص احفظ هذه الجملة وأحدهما يعرف معنى الجملة والآخر لا يعرف معناها فأيهما أسرع حفظا. If I give you a sentence, I say to you, memorize the sentence. Memorize this sentence. You can only speak English. And the sentence is, for example, written in the Russian or Chinese language. Will you memorize this long sentence quicker than somebody who understands the words and the meanings of this sentence? Likewise in Arabic. An ayah of the Quran, if you understand what it means, generally, I'm not talking about exceptions. There are some exceptions where you find people who don't know Arabic language, they know how to read, but they don't know the meaning. Sometimes you will find children that are very quick in understanding and in memorization. I'm talking about in general. In general, if I understand, for example, this Chinese sentence, and I know what it means, I think I will be quicker in memorizing it than you if you don't know what it means. So I think the idea has come through you. ويسهل للعربي خصوصا حفظ آيات قصص الأنبياء. And the Arabic person, for him, it's especially easy to memorize the ayat in the Quran that speak about the stories of the prophets, because he knows Arabic. So he, like in the story of Yusuf, it's easy for him to memorize it because he understands the Arabic language. In the qissa, he understands the story, unlike the one who does not know what he is memorizing. سبعة. قدر الله ما شاء فعل. I think نعم. آتني السلك من فضلك. We will continue inshallah. هذا السلك من آيفون. نعم. طيب. هاتيني الرأس من فضلك. Yes, I will stop here inshallah. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. We will continue inshallah in our next class. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.